And here we go, Ron. Oh.
Yeah. We were told we should do a podcast.
What was podcast?
We were told we should do.
Literally can't hear you. What's
Yeah,
that? One more
speak
time.
up.
We were told we should do a podcast.
Oh, what?
So what he's saying that we were told that we should do a podcast.
Oh, why don't you just say it?
Oh.
Wait.
Well, someone told us we should do a podcast.
Someone. Who was that?
Guys. Well, I can't remember what you're saying. What's the thing you normally say?
Guys, what episode are we up to, Ellie?
We are on episode 15.
And has it ever been done before?
No, bro. I don't think it has.
Hang on, just to clarify. Surely this niche. Okay, think about it. Think about the originality of this though for a sec.
For a sec.
3 white guys.
Straight guys.
White straight guys.
Never had to overcome massive obstacles or like
massive obstacles.
Yeah.
Like,
Major obstacles.
doing a podcast talking about their opinions.
talking about their opinions.
We must be pioneers here.
I think we're really, and what's cool is we've got a niche audience, a niche that we've really just targeted and nailed down.
Is the niche white guys?
The niche is, I don't know actually. Who listens to? Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I hope not.
I hope we're broader. I hope we're broader.
Yeah.
than that.
better be.
I actually need to correct myself. It was actually episode 16, and that hasn't been done before.
Thank you,
Oh
Ellie.
wow!
Thank you.
We haven't done
Shit.
16 before because we did 15
16.
last week.
Whew. All right.
look at us.
Congratulations,
Look at us go,
guys.
Look at us.
Look at us
Look
go.
at us go. I'd hit
Oh,
you
yeah.
as well, but you're too far away.
I want my hat.
I'll pass it on.
No, I want it from Adam.
I'm just going to
One
get up
second,
and
listener.
you take your
One
headphones.
second,
listener.
Yeah.
Yeah, good work, team.
I didn't just want to hit you. I wanted to give
16.
you a proper like.
Proper.
16.
And today on episode 16.
What are we talking about today, Adam?
Well, yes, ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about is social media ruining us? Not just the three of us and Ellie, but as a society, is social
I
media
think it
ruining
is.
us?
All right, that's the.
Done.
Any other
Do you-
opinions
Well,
on that?
I'm like, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because we are so intertwined with social media. I'm just like, I have, negatives and positives to say about it, but we wouldn't have our livelihood if we didn't have social media.
I know, especially for us talking about it,
Yeah.
and I kind of do have that in here as well, is that it's a double-edged sword for
It's
us
double-edged
because
sword.
our livelihood is dependent.
We want people to
primarily
stay
on social
addicted to
media.
social media.
Well, I mean, I know we're all across social media. We're on Facebook and we're on TikTok and Instagram. I don't consider YouTube to be social media.
I was just
No.
about to say, I'm like, what is the definition? There's media, old school media, and then this new thing, social media.
Yeah.
What is the definition of social media?
Yeah, I would say it's that peer-to-peer, like chatting, sharing photos, that kind of jazz. Which
Yeah.
Is it a place where you can
I
create
don't-
a profile for yourself is probably a big part of it, isn't it? Like
Mm.
present a page where you can present yourself to the world.
yeah,
In a way.
and show your personality via Instagram photos,
Yeah.
videos.
Because primarily the making the skits and releasing skits is we're just making media,
Correct.
but it just
Yeah.
happens to be on these platforms. Whereas there's a type of thing which is social media, which is kind of like, hey guys,
Oh my God,
yeah.
oh my God. Okay, what was, in your opinion, this is probably not your question, but what was the first social media?
the first thing that I felt the social media vibe from, which I used both of them, were MSN Messenger
Yeah,
and ICQ. Did you
What
guys?
the hell?
I remember
is
both of these.
ICQ?
I remember ICQ.
What the hell is ICQ?
Yeah.
It was a social media app.
What does it stand for?
ICQ.
I seek you.
Is this how you
Like-
explain things? When someone says, what does it
Yeah,
stand
yeah.
for? You just repeat the,
Yeah.
Is it
acronym.
because, was it a play? Was it with the 3 letters? ICQ? I see you. I never heard of it. Never heard of it until today.
Seek
You.
you.
I seek you. Okay. I mean, I never heard of it.
Anyway,
I'm frustrated now.
Did you know MSN Messenger?
Yes.
It was basically the
Oh, same
exact same thing.
Right,
It was
right.
just a different service.
Okay.
I use both of them, and
Yeah, same.
I consider them to be the birth of social media in the way that it makes you feel. Because I
Yeah.
would get home from school and be
Yeah,
like, Mum,
yeah.
can I use the internet?
Yeah.
Fucking dial into the internet, and you're sitting there waiting for a friend
Waiting
or a
for your
crush to come
your
on.
crush. Absolutely, I remember that.
And then I saw that my crush just updated her little status, because you can update your status on
Status,
ICQ.
yeah, yeah. Oh
my
And
God.
she's like, she's got a big crush on Stephen Adams, the cricketer, or maybe I should get into cricket or something. Into cricket or something.
I
don't know,
remember that feeling of kind of loading up and there's your friends. Well, I guess a list of people. How are these people on your list? Have you friended them at some stage?
So you had to do You had to friend them. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you'd, I mean, that to me, ICQ and MSN Messenger were the birth of, I've just forgotten the acronym for
Social media? Oh,
No, of the age, location, sex.
Oh,
ASL.
Yeah.
That was to me, that was the birth of ASL.
right.
For me, ASL was you go to a chat room.
Or a chat
first,
room,
like
yeah,
you go to Chat City or whatever. Like this is the early days of the internet where it's like you just go to a Chat City, just log into a random chat room and just start going, hi, anyone want to? It's just like, it's kind of like this big like thread.
Yeah.
And then you finally go, oh, hi, what ASL? I think would you kind of scream out in the chat room, ASL,
Yeah.
age, sex, location,
Yeah.
and someone would go like 16F Sydney. So 16 female Sydney, and I'm like 14. And I'm like,
Yo.
hi.
Hi.
And now I'm visualizing this person.
Who's obviously a supermodel. Yeah, every time.
I'm 18 Auckland.
Oh,
Yeah,
you know,
and you'd be like, "Oh my god, do you want a private message?" And then you're like, "Yeah, okay."
And then they'd send you the MSN or ICQ
Yeah.
code, and you'd have private messages.
Do you want a cyber?
So to me, I don't know about our listener, or obviously not you, Alan, but that was to me, that was the birth of like a very, like an embryo of social media.
Yeah.
I don't actually genuinely think, I mean, it's not social media, it's a messaging service, but
I see what you mean. I would agree with you on
I
that.
agree. I agree, but I also was not actively using these.
were you on Bebo or MySpace?
Bebo was
then?
my first big.
Yeah.
Once my
I
gateway
never
drug.
touched Bebo.
Never touched it.
Interesting. I was on Bebo first.
I think I was on MySpace first, but I never really got into it. It wasn't until Bebo that the tendrils of addiction of social media wrapped itself around me and really sucked me in.
Because both Bebo and MySpace, you could do something which Facebook has never touched, thankfully, is publicly have your top friends.
Yeah.
Which that was a dangerous
Bebo
game.
became that.
Do you not remember that?
I really had nothing to do
You
with
could
Bebo
on your
MySpace.
profile publicly be like, these 10 people are my top friends.
This is something that's where really like I like that society. Well, I don't know if this might be my bubble.
Hallie's nodding as well.
I
Did
hate
that
it.
bring some trauma back for you?
That is so bad. I cannot believe that was a thing because it was literally like, that's my top friend right now. And then I'd go on someone's page the next day and I'd been moved.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my gosh, what did I do? And it would just stir me into meltdown.
So,
Yeah.
I'm so glad no social medias do it these days because it's
Same.
so fucking toxic.
So
God,
bad.
that sounds toxic as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else that Bebo did though was the love heart
Yeah.
currency. Do you guys remember that? You
Vaguely, what was the love heart card?
Share the love.
share the love, and every day. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I can't. I from memory, you got like 3 love hearts every day.
Yeah, correct.
And you could dish these love hearts out every day to people.
Could you give all 3 to one person?
Do you remember? I think you could.
think you could. I think you just had to post 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so you
yeah.
give it to your crush? So
Yeah.
you give it to your
No,
crush?
genuinely,
Oh my
like,
God.
Yeah.
like so, and it's like kind of fun. But then suddenly, if your page becomes you've only got 50 love hearts, and everyone else has hundreds or thousands, and you're like, oh, everybody hates me.
Yeah.
like it's literally was a measurement of external validation,
Bro,
It was,
we think that social media is toxic these
man,
days. Fucking hell.
Bebo, fuck you, man. Bebo was like the worst. Bebo sent me into some really bad headspaces.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And that, like, and I remember negotiating with people at school. Like, it became a thing where it's like, if you give me that, I'll give you this. And it's like this thing.
So
where
it was kind of like in secret with another nerd. Just go, hey, if you like
Yeah.
it, then we can
It's
get
like,
this currency.
and
we
how
can be cool.
unhealthy is that? Like,
Fuck.
for
Oh
this
my God.
external thing. Yeah.
So yeah, I was on Bebo. I actually wasn't on Bebo for so long. It was the first one I was on though. But then MySpace was more about music, which
MySpace
I
feels so
guess I
humble.
like.
Like,
Again, I never was on either. So was MySpace more like you had your band musicians kind of, this is my MySpace.
Yeah, so
with-
all of the liked things that you
Rodney
liked
and the
were
Cowabungas.
exactly were all about bands and stuff. And I had a girl that I liked who was really into indie music and emo music.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I guess I'm moving over to MySpace.
Yeah.
But you could also on MySpace. Were you on MySpace, Ellie? Correct me if I'm wrong. on
I
this.
sure was. Do you know what my username was at
God.
12 years old?
Please don't do
What's
this.
The Hot Mac.
the hot man.
Okay.
There it is.
Why did I think that was cool
I
at
don't know.
12?
The
That
Hot
is
Mac.
so bad.
That's
But
yeah,
yes, I was
how
on MySpace.
embarrassing.
But remember, you could have, and you could change it as frequently as you liked, a music track that was your profile track.
Yes.
So when someone came to your profile page,
Oh.
the song that you had chosen was
Represents you.
represented there.
yeah.
Man, MySpace feels so pure now, doesn't it? As a
really
social media
does.
platform compared to, because it really, from my memory, I never really got into MySpace. But for me, it really was that go to a place and find out other people's interests.
Yeah, that's
rather
what it was.
than a competition for for who's most popular, who's living.
Yeah.
It's
best life.
so weird now to think that there was a time when it seems so obvious now, Facebook, this concept of connecting with everyone in the world and this massive web of connection. That feels so, of course, obvious now. But back then, that wasn't even on people's mind. It was like you could have your little page that kind of represents you.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's more what it was.
Yeah.
You could friend people, obviously, and have top friends and make the connections. But Facebook, when that came along, that was really about the web, wasn't it?
That was the big, I mean,
But I immediately remember needing this profile to misrepresent me, like in a
Your
bizarre
Bebo
way.
profile?
Yeah, like I needed to be cooler in Bebo than I was in real life.
Yeah,
Well, that's the whole reason I went to MySpace, because I felt that I was cooler if I then had this. Like, I was liking music and bands and songs that I didn't even like at all. It was just literally to represent me in being cooler than I actually was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bebo. I remember you could draw pictures on Bebo as well. You could draw little pictures on posts. And
that's right.
Drew
Fuck, I
dicks.
forgot about that.
I remember just everyone drawing dicks.
Do you?
Bebo was filled with dicks.
Do you
Like,
all-
literally the pictures of dicks and just dicks on the internet.
I mean, that's an entire podcast. Dicks on the internet.
Dicks on the internet.
Also, a thing you could do in MySpace, which this could almost be a separate podcast, because I feel like as younger people, we're all adept at HTML coding. Is that you could literally change the entire profile, like the website design of your profile with a little bit of HTML coding.
Yeah, it was like you can make your own skin, essentially.
Your own skin of your profile.
Really?
Yeah, it was
I
insane.
vaguely remember that. I don't remember ever learning HTML. I don't think I have ever learned that. But I think you could just
It's just a mind-bubble thing.
you could just download pre-made ones, I think.
Yes, I think
I can't remember how you'd install them though. Yeah.
But yeah, and so then when Facebook came along and it was just pure and white, and it was just everyone's got the same profile.
Yeah.
it was.
I'm assuming.
interesting.
I'm assuming we can all agree that Facebook feels like the beginning,
It
the
does.
real proper
Yeah.
beginning of.
Yeah.
It was
social
all of
media
these things
as
we're
we
talked
know
about
it.
at the moment were like seeds.
Yeah. But Facebook was like, it has begun.
It has begun.
Like,
Yeah.
I remember when. Oh, sorry, Ron.
yeah, you
I was going to say. I remember when I got Facebook because it was a new thing. I remember looking at it going, "Oh, this is so lame. This is so boring. I'm never going to use
really?
this." Like I was adamant. I was never going to use
I was
that.
exactly
but it's
the same.
gone full circle now to like now it is kind of a bit old.
Yeah,
and
it kinda
like,
has.
It's
Yeah.
a boomers on
I remember
Facebook.
exactly.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get on the Facebook bandwagon because I was
Yeah.
confident everyone was just going to come back to Bebo.
Same.
I was just like, well, everyone's just going to come back to Bebo. Yeah. And then Facebook became unavoidable, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I remember because remember when Facebook first came out, you had to be invited to
Yeah.
Facebook by someone
Yeah.
who was already on Facebook. So my brother
That's
my brother had been invited by someone else, and my brother was the person who invited me. And I immediately was like, "This is amazing!" Being able to, the thing that hooked me was being able to upload photos and tag other people in it, and that was what was making the connection, was the tags and photos and stuff.
Yeah.
And then being able to see someone that you weren't friends with tagged in a photo and being able to like then
Find
like
them.
the classic like the thing that we all know is in going on a fucking like journey through photos and
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
and shit in Facebook.
And I remember the movie actually made this feel like it was kind of a pinnacle moment, was just simply adding the information about whether the person was single or not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in
I
the
think
movie.
in the movie,
was
that was like the big breakthrough moment about, oh, holy shit. Do you guys remember that being, I don't remember,
I do
really
remember
that
I
being
remember
a
that being
factor.
super useful.
I
do.
remember it
mean-
becoming something that I actively was probably the first thing I looked at when I was
Oh, yeah.
Well,
checking out girls.
For most of our adult relationship life, being Facebook official has been a really important thing.
No, you're
Yeah,
right.
that's
You're
right.
genuinely.
Like
It's a moment, isn't
you were
it?
in a relationship once the Facebook status was changed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you were, I mean, like, it still kind of is to this day, not so much, but like when you get married or something or go into a relationship, that is a moment on Facebook that you'll get hundreds of likes and
Yeah.
comments.
I
They're
from
really
friends
can't
and shit.
remember if I remember at some stage for that reason that feeling of publicly having to go, oh, I better change my status because we've just broken up. Or I remember at some stage making a conscious decision, this is no longer information that I want the world to have anything to do with.
Yeah.
Yes.
So regardless whether I was in or out of a relationship, I was like, this is not part of my profile.
So, do you guys remember those first few, I guess, years of Facebook? Much like Bebo and MySpace, it did become a place to identify yourself. So one thing, it's not so much a thing anymore, but you did was like you filled out your likes of books and
Yeah.
movies and songs and everything like that. Like that, to me, it felt very important.
To me, it felt important when I was doing it, and then now I've probably got hundreds of different things that I've told Facebook that I like that are irrelevant.
I remember.
What did it do? Was that just information for other people that came along?
It was information for other people that came along, but it turned out that it was information for Facebook to remarket to.
Of course, at the time, we're like, oh, this is just filling out impressive about my profile. But really, Facebook's going, yes.
Marketing.
And what else do you like?
What else do you
like? Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember when Facebook to me initially was actually literally like the name suggests, Facebook, a place to store faces, was literally what it was for me. Realistically, it was a place, it was like my online photo album. It was a place to, quite literally to store my photos and to like, this is where I keep all my photos.
Yeah.
And I will share these ones with Mum. I made a little album here. This is our little camping trip we did, and here's my Mum. Here's the album.
Yeah,
it was real. That was all it was for me back in the early days.
And it was amazing for that as well. Like
I remember there was a friend of mine, and that would just every time we went out, she would because we would go out a lot, and she would upload bulk. She'd just be snapping photos the whole night, and then the next day was part of a day was dedicated to uploading all the images, 100 photos, tagging everybody. I think everybody really appreciated it.
I fucking loved it. I did that sometimes, and I had friends that would do that. And then, like, here is a record of the fucking drunken sloppy night that you had. Yeah. And everyone's tagged, and you can
have the option to untag yourself if there's an unflattering image. You just untag yourself.
Untag yourself.
Yeah. I think you could untag yourself.
And that was a common thing is like you'd make the album for the event. Like for that night out, that night on New Year's Eve, we called it New Year's, and there's an album that's on your Facebook and you tag everyone. It's not really.
How long has it been since you made an album on Facebook?
Oh, dude. I don't know if I ever. I
don't know if you still can make albums on Facebook.
I think you can. But I haven't done it in years. Yeah.
Like you just dump up 10 photos and they just are in a little thing on your timeline.
In truth, like I don't think I use Facebook anymore at all. Like I go to the squad sometimes and gonna go, hey, squad, and it's Messenger.
Yeah, I don't use my personal. Well, okay, so I don't have the app on my phone at all, but I will go to Viva Legit like a few times, and especially like back in and making sure we're still monetized. And then I still find myself on desktop, just like going on my Facebook, my main home feed or whatever, and scrolling for like it's only every a few minutes. And then I go, oh, what the fuck am I doing? Again, going back to the cell phone thing, I never feel good about scrolling the Facebook feed. Yeah. So it's not something I want to do. I have not updated my Facebook profile in years.
So this is a conversation that will keep evolving, but Facebook it felt like it was the social media platform that kept evolving. It kept adding pieces. I mean, these days it's a fucking monstrosity.
It's a monstrosity now.
It kept adding pieces, and even within a few years, it started to become a little bit of a monstrosity.
Yeah.
And then Instagram came out, and it just seemed this little pure gem.
Yeah.
It was just photos.
Just photos. That's all it was. Like, it was just photos.
Yeah. I fucking loved it.
It's an inevitability with any, like you can see TikTok's doing it now. It's an inevitability that any new platform's going to be its thing for a bit, and then it's going to go, we need to evolve and change.
And I guess that's because it gets really popular, but then hits a wall.
Yeah.
And then it's
probably a monetization wall for the most part.
Probably a monetization wall, and it's like, how do we monetize? How do we start getting ads, right?
The exact same thing happened with Snapchat. As it was first, just that photo goes to the person, and then it's gone skis, baby. And now Snapchat is also a monstrosity. Yeah. Like it's got all of these other elements.
I'm completely oblivious with Snapchat. I know, like we're having chats about we should be releasing our content on Snapchat, and I'm just like, to me, it is still just the app.
Yeah.
But so people are treating it like TikTok. Is that part of the
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube? It has been for the longest time.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
I'm completely off the Snapchat
routine. For me, it's just sending a picture of Balin to Claire. That's all Snapchat is.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me.
I literally,
you could do that with WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger.
The only Snapchat updates I get now are from Snapchat. That's literally it. It's like, hey,
Team Snapchat, there's this new filter.
There's a new filter. Oh my God, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, let's shoot into the future slightly, then we'll come back. Is then the rise of Vine, Musical.ly, and TikTok.
I just feel like it's important to say that YouTube there was Facebook happening. At about the same time there was YouTube happening.
Yeah.
And just that YouTube started out as literally YouTube.
Good point. We have skipped that. Yep.
Yeah. Like it was a place for just kind of like, hey, I'm just kind of doing my thing. It's just it was real.
Yeah. You had Facebook for the friend web.
Yeah.
You had Instagram for photos.
Yeah.
And you're right. It was YouTube.
It was the place where you do your personal little like videos that you do.
Yeah.
You do videos. YouTube.
Could you do videos on Facebook at this point? Like, could you upload?
Facebook
early days.
videos were fucking it took a long time for
Really?
Facebook to allow
Yeah.
videos. Like you couldn't even upload videos.
Wow.
In fact, I
okay.
feel like that in the early days of YouTube really was more social media back then. It was that real kind of. It wasn't about curated videos and media and stuff. It was.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
remember the first kind of breakthrough YouTube videos that I really noticed were just really simple handy cam, like Smosh Pokemon theme song was the big one for me. Like
But
that.
if you even think about the very first video ever on YouTube, which was obviously made by the creators of YouTube, was just them going, "Hey guys."
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it like at a zoo?
Yeah,
A video at the zoo? Yeah.
And there was that Numa Numa guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
And
right.
it was just
All
like,
that kind of stuff,
I love that those were
The
just
innocence of it.
the innocence of it. That Numa Numa guy could go viral.
Mm.
It's just a guy in a room singing to Numa Numa. And if you did that now, crickets, like nothing.
Oh,
Nobody.
God. Yeah.
There's
I mean,
nothing.
yeah, basically
Maybe,
nothing.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is almost a separate topic, but that is something that I feel sad in my heart about, I guess, not just about us, but about YouTube in general, is that YouTube was that place where you'd go on to, when I think back to when I was kind of a teenager or early 20s, that you would go for that just interesting, like not fringe content necessarily, but stuff that was so pure because it was just someone blurting their brain online.
Yeah.
But now it does feel like a media outlet.
Yes.
It is.
And
And that's us, and that is
And
we're part of that.
part of the
We're
problem.
part of that.
But you're right. There's a lot of very professional, curated content on there.
Almost
In
everything.
fact, I guess YouTube was what TikTok is now.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
TikTok
totally.
is they're like, hey, I'm doing a thing and upload.
So
Yeah.
in your, and because again, I don't use TikTok. Have the marketing, have the millionaire companies not quite put their talons into TikTok yet with their marketing?
Well, they are
It's
now.
currently happening.
TikTok's
It's currently
literally going, oh, how do we monetize this? We've tried these ads, but everyone skips them.
Yeah.
We need longer videos.
Yeah.
And the same journey that Facebook and YouTube both went through is longer videos mean we can put ads in them. So it's coming.
Is
You can-
everything
Is
kind
this
of,
basically the beginning of the end for TikTok?
Yep.
Because that exact same thing is going
Same
to
journey.
happen, and then a new one will come that'll be like, "We're young and fresh,
We're young and fresh. We
it's
don't
all
do
about
that long
you.
stuff."
Do your own thing." And
Is this
then
like-
it'll happen again?
yeah, right. So it's just this like cycle. Because
Yeah.
from the sound of it to me, TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat are just all equalizing and becoming
Yeah.
the same thing.
they're all
Right?
just
Kind of.
copying
Yeah.
each other and just.
And then it'll sort of be
they
like,
all do everything.
and now because they all do everything, you just have to make a choice. Are you team TikTok or team Snapchat?
Yeah.
or
And
team-
just for anyone
Fair
who's
enough.
not aware of the changes happening on TikTok, basically, TikTok is encouraging. Actually, I'm not sure if you might not be aware of this.
No.
It's a very new TikTok. I've seen it coming on my feed a lot. TikTok is now prioritizing landscape
Wow.
aspect ratio videos, and it's really encouraging long landscape videos on
Really?
TikTok. So what it does is if you upload
And
it
literally,
quickly,
the algorithm is promoting this.
it's promoting it. now.
Buzzy. Wait, do you have to flip your
Yeah,
phone
you flip
up?
your phone. You press full screen and then it flips the phone.
So
and then
sorry,
you watch the long.
it's not like
Wow.
a vertical video with a cropped, horizontal landscape
No.
video in the middle with black bars on the top and the bottom. It's
At
a
first,
full-
you'll see it as the tiny little thing in the middle with
Yeah.
big black bars on top of it,
yeah.
and then you'll have to press enlarge and then flip
Right,
your phone,
right.
and then you're watching it like
Crazy.
you watch YouTube videos. It's
Yeah.
just becoming YouTube.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they can
Wow.
monetize
And then
it.
YouTube's going the opposite way, trying to get shorts out
Yeah,
of everyone. Yeah.
What is going on? Well,
It's
we'll just
so
try and ride
fucked.
that wave.
We'll just keep riding the
Let's
next
have another
wave.
meeting, you guys. Let's have another meeting about it.
But I must say, even Vine felt that. I'm not sure if you guys were into Vine
I
back
loved
in the
Vine.
day,
Oh my
but
God.
Vine felt like that. It makes me a little bit sad that Vine died
Yeah.
because it never. Well, mind you, maybe it makes me happy that Vine died because it never had that moment of becoming a monster. It was pure for its entire
It
life.
Yeah.
it died at 27.
It genuinely, it's part of the 27
Yeah.
Club, and it was just Vines felt so pure. Like
Yeah.
it was primarily skewed towards comedy, which I loved, obviously. And it was just short and engaging, and
And
just
you know-
felt like someone just going, "Bleh, that's
And
my idea.
The content that it was creating was really, it kind of just felt like a continuation or expansion on the 5-second film things
Yeah.
that we loved because there were a lot of really creative short films on there.
Yeah.
So
It was like a really cool way to analyze like what are the important beats of like storytelling, like
primarily comedy. For that.
primarily comedy. And there were some content creators on there that I just loved. There was that one guy from Do you remember that one guy from Saving Private Ryan he's the bearded guy? I don't know his name. I'll describe the horrible scene that he's in where he's fighting to get the knife off the guy, the gym.
I know you're talking about.
So he
I don't think I saw him on Vine.
He had a Vine account and he created so much dope content.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. It was the first time I really felt like I was connecting with like a pretty well-known actor. And seeing his world, and he was just making dope content on the side of whatever else he was doing. It's really fun.
It felt then that also all of those Vine people, as is the inevitability of growth, is then moved on to YouTube or moved on to do longer form stuff, get it monetized.
When was I wasn't part of Vine. I never watched Vine. When was Vine, and was it an app on your phone?
So it was an app on your phone. I would say it started around the time of Snapchat. So it was quite old.
Also another thing. Was it the same thing as TikTok where you just keep swiping up?
Yeah. Or, it was TikTok before TikTok.
Did you literally swipe up?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't fully remember. Do you remember? Did you watch Vine?
I didn't really use Vine, no.
I think you swiped up as well.
Yeah.
It was very similar.
Yeah.
And then Musically came around after Vine or around the same time as Vine. And that was most certainly swipe up. It was all about music. It was all about lip syncing and dancing.
Yeah.
And then Musically got bought by TikTok. And hey, we all know what TikTok is. I don't think we need to explain that. Now we'll get on to the actual thesis of this podcast. Is social media ruining us as a people?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And that's done. We'll finish that.
Yes.
Okay, to be more specific, I think there are some pros to it, but predominantly I think it is melting our brains and making us insecure, and
I agree.
It's ruining our attention span.
I would love to meet not to dwell on this too much, I would love to meet the version of me that didn't have the world of social media dragging him down for like a lot of his adolescence. Like I feel like I'd be a much more confident. Like I feel like I'm kind of coming out of it now, especially after having removed social media from my life a lot. But I feel like I would have been a much more confident, outgoing person if I didn't have social media.
Not to ruin the thesis right now, but I do feel that a lot of social media and a lot of the issues with social media are analogous to other things in life that we would have had if we didn't have social media, like the whole keeping up with the Joneses type element. Like that's just from TV or books or literally looking across the road at someone who's just got a new lawnmower or something like that. Like there is still analogies to other things in real life, but it's just social media heightens it, and you're literally just there addicted to your phone with social media. That's actually the first thing I want to start with. Was part of the issue with social media is a lot of these companies have literally designed their apps and their websites to elicit in humans the same responses that we have when we are addicted to something. And that's literally what I've got written down here is pokies. Pokie machines is
swipe.
The swipe.
I need another dopamine hit. Swipe up.
And here
I'm getting bored. Swipe up. I'm getting bored. Swipe up.
And that's genuinely what the brain does when you're either on Facebook or TikTok, or not TikTok, so Facebook or Instagram or the other ones that are a full timeline. Is your brain is waiting for that next dopamine hit, and it's dropping. It's got, I can't remember what it's called, but that anticipation for dopamine is almost more important than the dopamine itself.
Yeah.
And you're waiting. And apparently this is the thing that the social medias do purposefully feed you about 70% shit content to 30% good content, because it's that 70% shit that keeps you scrolling to find the good stuff.
Yeah.
If it was a banger content constantly, you wouldn't swipe as long.
Maybe you could, just stick on one thing, and then they can't play ads in between.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they probably couldn't just feed you non-stop good content anyway. They're going to need to.
I feel like the bad part of social media goes pretty hand in hand with cell phones, though. Like,
for sure.
If we didn't have cell phones, then social media wouldn't, in my opinion, be anywhere near as bad. Like it's the constantly scrolling in your face nonstop. Because
I do remember being on Facebook on desktop when I was younger, but nowhere near as bad, because you had to physically be in a place.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down at the computer. I'm going to spend some time on Facebook.
I still get this.
Mum.
Like, for example, Instagram, I mean, I know it is a website now as well, but Instagram was initially only an app, right?
Yeah. I still feel like the website version of Instagram is just like the mobile version, the limited a limited version of Instagram. That's like, if you want to see this properly, you have to go back to the app.
Yeah.
I still get, just going back to addiction and all that, I still get a little embarrassingly dopamine hit when I see notifications, like the messenger, the little icon being like, you've been pinged.
On Instagram?
On Instagram or Facebook, just like a little message. I'm like, oh, get a bad. I think it just ties back to this, like probably high school, when there's a chance that it's the girl that you've been messaging.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's still
so ingrained
subconsciously ingrained in me.
And on Facebook back in the day, having a little notification saying you've been tagged in a photo. You're like, what? Oh my God, it's Jessica. She's tagged me in a photo. What? Oh my God.
Yeah.
She took the time to tag me in that photo that we were in.
She was thinking about me.
Thought about me for the briefest of moments.
Yeah.
Which means she must love me. Great.
She must love me. I'm marrying Jessica.
We're getting married.
I'm marrying Jessica.
But yeah, so social media apps literally purposefully causing that addiction, like slot machines, I'm sure they do so much way beyond just slot machines, going into how to cause that addictive nature and keep you on the apps. It's not only keep you on the apps, but keep you on their apps. So
it's a slot machine in your pocket that can send you notifications unless you turn it off. It's like, hey, you want to use the slot machine?
I remember, I mean, we know a lot about this because we are content creators, but when we found out that Facebook penalized you for causing people to leave the app. And so if you put a YouTube link in, it wouldn't do as well as if you uploaded a Facebook video.
Like they were not hiding that fact either.
No,
anytime we'd put YouTube links in, it would get 5% the engagement. If that. It was embarrassing. It was just like, it was a hard no.
For me, social media is there are two main ways that it's bad. There's just my attention span, wasting my life, addicted to this screen that's just this waste of my attention span, I think is the best way to put that.
Yeah.
And then there's the other bad side of it, which is making people insecure about their lives. And I think Instagram is probably the main culprit for making people scroll.
It cultivates jealousy.
It
felt
jealousy,
like it was to begin with, for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like all of them are to blame now. But it really was Instagram to begin with, wasn't it?
Yeah, I suppose Instagram was the one that would make you go, all the people that you know would kind of go, oh, look at them in Hawaii, look at them doing that.
That's it. So it really cultivates jealousy, and I think that's the that's another thing that I feel so much more ingrained in me now because of social media is jealousy. It's just that which I hate. It's one of those things that I if I could change anything about myself, the first thing would be jealousy. Like, just don't comparing yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy.
That's not just you though. That's
I feel like it's been heightened though because of social media. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. It's definitely been heightened but what I mean, it's not just you that has that feeling.
Totally. Yeah.
So
I'll just continue on that. It felt like back in the day, Facebook was you dumped all your photos. You dumped 100 photos of a night out. And because it was 100, none of them were, maybe one or two of them would be fucking amazing. But because it's 100, you just look at them all, ooh, it was a great night out. But because Instagram, rather, at that time, you couldn't have carousels. It was one photo. You went, I took a bunch of photos on the beach that day. What's the best photo? Obviously, it's going to be one of me. Here I am in my bikini.
Yeah.
And now
you in that bikini, by the way.
Thank you.
You in that bikini, bro. And also because I can only put that one that represents the day, it's going to have to be a selfie, so it's got me in it as well as the person that I want, other person in it.
Yeah.
And then I guess after a point as well, after a few photos, you've done this for a while now. You're like, man, all these pictures of me are like the best pictures of me. I have to maintain this this facade, so everyone I can just keep. Yeah, presenting myself in such an artificial way, and that's when I don't know if it's part of what you're going to get into.
That is part of it.
Filters is just another disgusting thing. Oh my god! Filters I think was another just a massive step in the wrong direction.
I feel like initially filters. I mean, it's definitely a step in the wrong direction, but initially filters were quite obvious, and it was just like, oh, you're putting a fucking little sparkles on your cheek and that kind of stuff. These days, they're so insidious because they're so subtle.
Yes.
And
like FaceApp.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
You can just put like the subtlest little de-aging filter or something like that on, and like no one knows.
No one knows.
It's so insidious.
I do.
You
On all
do
your
it like a
photos?
little
Not all of them, but there every now and then I'm just going to give that one. I'm feeling a little bit, my skin's a bit that day, and I just go, just a little subtle little.
Yeah. And you're causing people that look at your photos, Ron,
and they go,
be insecure.
Why is Ron so perfect?
Fucking gorgeous.
Amazingly perfect.
Yeah.
Because the filter's dog.
Yeah, dog.
But I agree with you, Rod. The two major, I've actually got 5 or 6 things here, but 2 big ones are addiction and then self-esteem. And self-esteem's probably one of the worst thing. It's the kind of self-esteem and keeping up with the Joneses. It's the same issue. Is that you're looking at these other people's profiles and going, oh my God, there's Hannah in Greece and she looks amazing and she's having an amazing time with her husband. And oh my God, I'm never.
She must be happy
She
all
must
the
be
time.
Constantly fucking happy. And I'm not constantly fucking happy.
Yeah. I'm not happy all the time.
I went to Greece and I wasn't happy the entire time.
I was sad a little bit.
There was 2 days in Greece where I was sad.
I was a little bit sad.
Yeah. And feeling that you can't live up to that.
But the real bad one is the fitness influencers.
Yeah.
Like, I know Claire can relate to just like, I think a lot of women especially can relate to just going through Instagram and just seeing all these gorgeous fitness influencers and just, and they're giving good advice on fitness, but they're also going, look at how I look and how you can never attain this.
Yes, this is unobtainable.
This is your new expectation.
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you know why? Genetics.
Oh, and also I'm 21.
Yeah,
and by the way, I'm 21. And these 30-something-year-old women don't realize, by the way, that person's 21.
21.
They're 21.
Ellie, considering we're on the topic, I want your opinion. What is it like being a woman on, I don't mean on Instagram, having a profile, I mean using Instagram or social media in general?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it's quite subliminal too. Like, I don't even realize that my brain is getting wired like this and seeing all these beautiful women, and I think it's conscious but subconscious. So most of the time I only really look at my friends' feeds. Like, I don't really go onto the explore feed because I don't really want to see it. But TikTok's interesting because then you're just constantly
bombarded by it.
And you're like, oh man, God, I thought I looked like that, but I clearly don't. And I do have thoughts like that a lot.
Is this when you're seeing yourself on TikTok or like
other people, like other girls and women, and I still think I'm 21 in my head, and then I see a 21-year-old and I'm like, oh, I'm not 21.
Yeah.
Oh. So it is tough, but I think a lot of it's quite subconscious. Like, I don't really even know what it's doing to me.
Yeah.
That don't even know what it's doing to me. I think that is one of, across all of these issues I have written down here, is one of the biggest problems, is that people aren't aware of how it's rewiring our brains in terms of anxiety, depression, addiction, self-esteem, bullying, fame.
Yeah.
Like that's the fame is another big one, as well as people feel like back in the day it was that you had to get the likes. You wanted more likes than your friends. But now it's not you need more likes than your friends. It's you need more likes than everyone else you don't know. And TikTok, I feel all of them, I think maybe Instagram is the beginning of it, but TikTok is the heightened version of it. It's everyone's trying to be famous.
Yeah,
now.
Everybody.
And we can't speak because we are fucking social media
influencers. We're managed to get
influencers.
successful on our platforms and it's our career, but every young person everyone has to have a profile.
Yeah.
And everyone's thinking, if I play my cards right, I could be famous and make a career out of this.
Yeah. And it again, we're not ones to speak, but it feels really dirty to me when someone's just uploading, like you can tell they've not just caught an interesting moment with their dog or baby or something and they're just uploading that innocently like you would on the early days of YouTube. It's like, I have curated this moment with my baby or my dog and I'm hoping that this will get me famous on Instagram.
I would put that into one of my peeves in the last podcast actually is dragging your kids into this.
Yeah.
Like that trying to, I'm going to be a parent influencer.
Yeah.
And now you child, learn lines, go, learn lines. Oh, you did it wrong. You had to do it again. I need to get famous. Like, and you can tell some of these kids on there are being pushed into this by these adults. It's not fair.
And then, or like the one that really gets me is the poverty porn, where people go and do things with homeless people, or
I hate
or
that.
ones
God.
or the I am the main character fucking kind of.
There are some toxic.
I tapped on the table. The I am the main character type thing, where they try and get famous by going and fucking doing something in the middle of a supermarket, or like.
I hate that. I'm seeing so much of like on Reddit, the one that's popping up. I don't even think I'm subscribed to it, but I must engage with it enough for it to keep serving it up to me. is I'm the main character.
That's the way I said that.
Yeah, and it's
same.
just embarrassing content that makes you cringe. It's just somebody going into a supermarket just screaming, for example, and everyone around's just like, what? And they're clearly just trying to get attention and do something out of
and
it.
get likes.
And get famous on the internet. It's just awful.
One of the other downsides of social media I've got written down here is the term that's been coined doom scrolling, where I find myself doing this all the time.
That's the big one for me.
You do it in bed with TikTok, but I find that I'll like get home from a long day and be like, I just want a break for 2 minutes and I'm going to sit on the couch, and immediately phone comes out, Instagram, Reddit, Facebook, and you just find yourself, I've just wasted at best half an hour on the couch doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Whereas I would much rather have spent that time even playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that's not necessarily more productive time, but I would have felt better about it.
It's Baldur's Gate for me at the moment, man. I'm just like, any time that I have a spare moment, I think my life is very different to both of yours, where I have no time up until the kids go to bed, really. And when the kids go to bed, because I've got such a limited space time before I need to go to bed myself, I need to use that time. I can't doom scroll. I bet a lot of parents do that, where they just chill on the couch and doom scroll.
From what I understand of other parents, that is basically their night after the kids go to bed. It's 2 hours of doom scrolling and then bed.
I can't do that. I need to. And I'm Baldur's Gating anytime I...
Happy.
I'm loving it, by the way. Right, we should Baldur's Gate.
Should we do a podcast about Baldur's Gate?
What a game.
I know.
What a game.
But you've admitted that you will often spend hours in bed.
When it's bad, there have been bad times when I'm like... So the two big evil parts of it for me that I was talking about, there's the insecurity side of keeping up with the Joneses, and then there's the doom scrolling. I don't actually worry too much about the keeping up with the Joneses. That's something that's never really affected me too badly. I can rationalize that I know what that's like, that's a snippet of the best part of life. It's the addiction and the doom scrolling and just the because I've got a bit of an addictive personality. We've seen Bodger. We've seen you've seen it, and
Bodger's addictive gambling personality based on you, is it?
It's based on me.
Wow.
And you've seen me like buying cosmetics and video games. Like,
Now that you mention it.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. Interesting.
So that whole thing of just going into bed and just doom scrolling and then just feeling like, what have I done with my life? What am I doing? I have moments of like, I throw the phone away. If I'm on the couch, like,
genuinely,
literally,
wow.
I'll have like be on the couch and like an hour's passed, and I'm like, oh my god. And luckily, this boring video comes past, and I'm like, and it wakes me up, and I'm like, and I throw the phone away and like onto the other side of the couch and just kind of go.
It's caught by a mirror image of yourself. Like, no, Ron, we're not
Take
finished.
it back, Rowan.
No, thank you.
The fucked thing about all of this that we're talking about, fame and algorithms and social media, all the stuff, is that there's now people trying to get famous on Instagram, TikTok, etc. by making videos that say, "Whoa, stop scrolling. Get off your phone and go outside."
Yeah, but be sure to subscribe to me before you go.
Yeah, genuinely.
Before you go.
There's people with getting famous on those platforms by doing videos like that, which is absolutely... Is it fucked? I was going to say it's fucked. Maybe.
I know that the thing is, we are contributing to this whole, like, fueling the... But we're creating, like, I'm so proud of the content that we're making. At least
we are, but you could argue that we are contributing to it, but I feel like we're contributing to it in a pretty good way.
I think so.
Compared to
I'd like
what's
to
out
think
there.
so.
I think so. We're trying to make people laugh with sketches rather than...
Yeah.
Your content's not like self-serving. You're actually genuinely trying to entertain people, and I think that's a massive difference between that and just look at us, look what we do. I think you're okay, guys. Don't worry about it. You're okay.
Thank God I was worried.
Thank you for jumping in there.
Thank God. Yeah, we needed an outside voice there, because otherwise it was just going to be us being like, we're good guys, right?
We're the guys. One part I just wanted to move on to was about how it's affecting the next generation, or there's a way it affects us, which is I think we're it's bad, as I've explained how I can get addicted to it, but I feel like it's not shaping my personality as much as my niece, and her generation and the Gen A's, or the Gen Z's, but I call them the Gen A's, the one after the Gen Z's.
Right. It feels like it has shaped the Gen Z's most certainly.
Yeah.
But I agree that I'm frightened for the Gen A's.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, they rebel against it so hard.
Yeah.
Is your niece Gen A or Gen Z?
Should be Gen A. I think. I don't know what
I always wondered what came after Gen Z.
I guess I've heard other people call it Gen A. Just because
apparently that's what it is.
It goes to the end of the alphabet and then just start the alphabet again.
Yeah, right.
I'm calling it Gen A, and I think we should all make this the thing.
I believe it is Gen A. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I don't know what the threshold for that is, but I think that Gen A, my nieces.
So what's your concern there? How do you think they're shaped by?
And how addicted is your niece to social media now?
I don't.
13?
I don't.
Did you say?
She's just turned 15.
15, sorry.
One of my nieces. I mean, no more than anyone else her age.
Yeah.
I'm not. She's just a normal teenager.
You're talking about having it your entire.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking about
life,
using her as the only reference I have of just that generation who has just literally grew up with it from day one. And the moment they get a cell phone, they were making an Instagram profile, they're making a TikTok profile.
They knew all about it.
They're immediately trying to probably subconsciously get famous. Like they're all just like I couldn't imagine every stupid thing you do is on record now on social media. Like, how does that shape your personality?
Yeah,
it's weird when we still had a childhood without this. It became very even while we were still mentally developing, it did become part of our lives. But at least we had a slither of childhood before these generations, younger generations. Now it's part of them forever.
Yeah, you're going out riding
as soon as you're conscious.
You're going out riding your bike, wanting to film it and do tricks because you can put it online and get famous. Whereas we were just riding our bikes and doing tricks because it was cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Or to impress the girl that was standing over there or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I guess is the same thing. It's just heightened by social media. You want to
And
impress all the girls on social media as opposed to the one on the street over there.
Yeah.
And in the back of your mind, you're always thinking like, this little post I'm doing, this thing, maybe this will go viral, or maybe this will be my chance at fame.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me sick. Genuinely makes me sick.
But then it's just the constant persona, your online persona that you're constantly working and crafting. You can't, you're not just being yourself.
I don't feel it with Viva, as we're just discussing. I feel like Viva really is proper, pure creativity trying to entertain other people.
Yeah.
But I do feel it sometimes with both with Instagram and with Twitch, my personal accounts of those, is that I do often, I flip-flop between putting effort into it and then rebelling against it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, because it's my personal accounts for both Twitch and Instagram, it really feels like I am doing that trying to be famous thing.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, I don't like it. I flip-flop. I flip-flop between not liking it or going, no, this is my self-expression. I want to do it.
Yeah, totally.
Like I was for a moment there doing the whole dad joke thing, which I personally find very funny. Like I enjoy it, and so I force it upon the world.
Yeah.
But then sometimes no, it does. I flip-flop and go, no, it feels like I'm trying to be famous with dad jokes, and I flip-flop between them.
Yeah.
And I can't ever maintain which one I fucking want to do.
Who do I want to be?
Who do I want to be here?
Yeah. I don't know. I have. It's not really a big conscious decision, but I've just stopped updating Instagram and stopped streaming. Part of that is time, but it's just also when time presents itself to me, there are other things that I want to do.
Same. That's what I feel with Twitch. That I do stream from time to time if I feel like I'm going. If I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah,
that's the thing. Like I never want to, because for a while there was starting to feel, especially when I don't know, it goes back to the comparison thing. When everybody else is streaming, I feel like I should do it as well, and it kind of forces me into it, and then I'll naturally be comparing the numbers and the subs and the thing, and I'm just like, I don't know. And then I leave a thing, and I've used 2 or 3 hours of my spare time, and it didn't hit the numbers that I wanted to hit. I'm just like, no, I think it's just
all wrapped up together.
It's all wrapped up together. I'm like, I'd rather have just written or done Baldur's Gate.
Because Twitch is that same thing as it's like, what? There's 2 options for this. Why would you stream on Twitch?
Yeah.
The main one is get famous, right? I want people to watch me.
Yeah.
And so I don't necessarily mean us.
I mean
general.
The general out there. Yeah, it's definitely not.
And so that's what Twitch is. It's like stream your video game time or whatever else, etc. time to get famous. And you can really see that being boiled down on Twitch now, whereas it's not all about video. It's not all about gaming, because that other avenue was I'm very good at games, so people can watch me and get better or whatever.
Yeah.
Now Twitch is always in the top 3 is just chatting on Twitch, at least whenever I look.
Yeah.
Sorry, the top 3 things being
if I do, and I imagine I will get back into streaming again at some point, I think I want to just do it as just chatting. I don't like removing the video game element for me. Yes, it's something to do, but I never play well when I'm streaming with that. Like, I'd rather just be chatting.
The thing that I get the most value out of on Twitch is just the fan interaction.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like I often feel like
same, and honestly, the video game detracts from that sometimes.
Yeah, genuinely.
Especially if it's like Overwatch or something. Where
Genuinely.
I can't focus on the game and chat at all. And what have you guys been talking about?
Do Overwatch.
Yeah. I much prefer to do just chatting streams, which is why I got into Marble so hard back in the day, because it feels like you can have more of that fan interaction.
Yeah, if I ever have more free time, I love the idea that you pitched recently, which was like just did morning coffee time.
Yeah, just a quick one.
Quick one. Go jump on for an hour, chat, talk about what you're getting up to, what you're working on, what Viva's doing.
Part of the thing when you haven't streamed in ages is that you build up this pressure of your first stream back. Oh God, here we go. Whereas you don't realize that you can actually just press the button and it starts streaming and you go, I'm
back.
I'm here. In half an hour and I'm gone.
And I'm gone. Yeah. So my coffee time is I'd need to choose between if I feel like I can creatively do writing, and if I don't feel like that, I'll be like, that's my plan.
There's a couple of points we haven't got to, but is there anything anyone really feels like they want to say about social media? And is it ruining us?
Well, it's not ruining us. I don't think.
I feel it's ruining us.
The three of us?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I mean, first of all, just putting the money thing aside, we need to, it pays for our bills. So thank you, social media.
I don't necessarily mean Viva. I mean personally.
Right. I don't think it's. I feel like I've distanced myself personally.
You're from the last few weeks I've heard about your social media use. Yeah, doing really well.
It's been a gradual thing. Instagram was like just over the last year or so, I've just dropped off almost entirely. Facebook, once it was off my phone, it slowly became less and less of a thing. I don't know. That's me. I just don't have time for social media to ruin my life. is my vibe right now.
Yeah. Lucky you.
What about you guys? Is social media ruining your lives?
To a degree, it's not ruining my life, but it really is a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
The doom scrolling.
Yeah. The doom scrolling is a big problem for me. And
is it a problem that you want? Are you gonna? I don't know, do something about it?
We literally, a couple of podcasts ago, talked about how I want to get my phone out of the bedroom, and I might that night. Didn't do it.
I'm exactly the same.
I want to, though. I need to. New 2024 thing. I felt like I was doing, for a few months there in 2023, I was doing good. I always feel significantly better on a day, afternoon, morning, whatever, when I use less social media.
Okay, here we go. I'm not saying I promised my soul that I'm going to do this, but right here, I'm going to attempt to stop doing social, like TikTok and stuff in bed again. I'm going to try that again.
Or, because there's a middle ground, just set a timer. Or would that not work?
That's so hard.
I'm an all or nothing guy.
Yeah, all or nothing.
That shit doesn't
I
work.
think most people would find themselves to be all or nothing.
Yeah.
That's why I always find they're like, I'm going to have 20 minutes. It's
so
like,
to be what worked for me in the past was that even if I still want to scratch that itch, I'll just do it. I'll finish my whatever I'm doing, and then I'll sit on the couch and just do TikTok.
Yeah. Before
not
you go to
in bed.
Yeah.
So I'm just creating that separation from bed. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
We need to get we need to schedule in an update with you in like a month.
Okay.
And be like,
how's it going?
Yeah. That's a good idea. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Social media. Is it bringing us together or pushing us apart? You chat about that in the comments somewhere.
And Ron will wrap us out now with his thoughts on whether or not social media is good or bad.
Yo, we're talking about social media and how it's ruining our soul. It's making us want to remove a mole.
Yeah.
That kind of rhymes.
Yeah, kind of.
So
I feel like you're trailing. No, double down. You gotta double down.
Double down. Social media. Yeah. We got TikTok. We got Instagram. We got Facebook. We got Viva. We got MySpace. We got 2023. We got 2020. We got 2013.
You're doing years now.
I tried.
You are genuinely.
That is what it was.
You are genuinely getting a lot better from podcast 1, 2, 3, etc.
There it is.
I agree.
Yeah. Love it. Well, you know what, guys? I'm going to revive my ICQ account.
Bring it back, dog. Bring it back.
I reckon.
I wonder if Jessica will finally reply.
She'll be like, she said you've had a message waiting from Jessica for like 10 years.
More longer than 10
20
years. 20 years, probably. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly follow me. Let's go.
Let's go.
Listener, let's get on ICQ.
ICQ.
Bye.
Do you get really annoyed when there's video along with your podcast? Well, now you can just listen to the audio only. Head on over and here's all of the episodes. Audio only. You wouldn't listen to the car while you're running or something. Oh.